No updates right now. We're just monitoring it as we go here, and he'll be working to get ready for the game.
After looking at the film, what did you see from the two-point conversion attempt there at the end? It seemed like the Steelers were saying afterwards that they knew that the play was going in the direction it was.
Well, it didn't work. You know, I think anytime you got a play that didn't work, you kind of look at it very critically. I mean, we're disappointed in that play. You want to have a better play up there, a better play call, a better executed play, everything along those lines. So I think, you know, in every game, whether you win or lose, but especially when you lose and especially when it's an opportunity to tie the game at the end after a hard-fought game like that, you got to look at those plays really hard. And that's one we'd like to have back just across the board.
John, maybe not a regrets person per se, but along those lines, not having Derrick on the field for that play, to do things, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know, really. I'm not sure about the question. I just think there are plays where guys are on the field, the guys are on the field for specific types of plays, you know, and depends on the type of play, whether Mark's out there or Isaiah's out there or Zay's out there or Bates out there or whoever. Derrick Henry's a great football player, and you want him out there situationally, but he's not out there for every play. So like I said after the game, that's the play that was called, you know. That's the personnel group that it was set up in through a lot of game planning. I mean, coaches they're in early and they're home late, and we all try to put the best plan we can together and come up with the best plays. And when it doesn't work out, you know, it hurts. It's bad, and you really feel disappointed about it because it's your job and it's what you want to get done well. So all the little nuances within that are all things that disappoint you. But every player is not on the field for every play. I'd like to have had a better play there, you know, and I'd like to have had a successful play. So you look back on it, and that's how you feel about it. You feel bad about it.
John, obviously, Derrick Henry's been a big part of the run game for you guys this year. Been successful in it. But was there any thoughts of maybe seeing Keaton? He wasn't very involved offensively yesterday. Was there ever a thought just to see what a different look with him in there? I know he brings such a different dynamic.
Well, the way you're asking it is just to be like experimental. No, there's no thought to experiment in that game right there. Keaton's a guy we want to get involved for sure. He's only been back for 2 weeks, you know, coming back from a knee injury. The way the game went, we only got Derrick 12 carries as it was, 13 carries as it was. So you want to get him more, you know. We only had like 52 or 53 offensive plays. We didn't have as many throws or runs or anything else that we wanted. So now to try to get a specific player in the game, you could say the same thing about any other player. You want to get him more reps, more opportunities. You probably need more plays. And to get more plays, you need more successful plays, more first downs, more yards. We were off the field a couple times real quick. I think two of our series were off the field in 2 or 3 plays. So it just cuts down the opportunities for everybody.
John, you made the change at safety with Ardarius Washington replacing Marcus Williams. What have you seen from Ardarius up until this point for him to earn this opportunity, and then how do you think he played? I mean, he played every snap. He was the only guy who did that.
Yeah, that was the plan going in. Those two guys, we were trying to attack some issues that we had in the back end, as everybody knows, and I thought they played well back there. Those guys did a good job. Ardarius had earned that opportunity. He earned that chance by the way he practiced, and then also by the way he played when he was in there during the course of the season. We put Kyle back there as well. I thought he played very well back there. He did a great job communicating. They both did, and they played well. So that would definitely be a formula going forward. And then, you know, still the guys that are here with us are still going to be working to do whatever they can to help us win.
John, it seems almost an inconceivable question over the last decade, but is there any thought to bringing in competition for Justin Tucker as tryout candidates or anything?
At this point?
Yeah.
No, there's no thought to that. I mean, you have to find that competition first, just if you're going to be blunt about it, you know, where is that competition? That would be one thing, and the best option right now is to get Justin, you know, back on point, because he's fully capable of doing it. Certainly haven't lost any confidence in Justin Tucker. You know, you saw that on the 54-yarder that we sent him out for, and he drilled it. So that's the Justin Tucker that he wants to see, that we all want to see on every kick. And he's definitely our best option, and he's going to make a lot of kicks. I really believe that going forward. But it's up to him. You know, it's up to him and the guys he works with every day to make those balls go straight. So that's not competition right now at this time. No, that's not something we want for Justin. We just got to compete to get better, make those kicks.
Missed field goals, are you seeing it is it on the kicking side? Is there anything going on in part of the other mechanics that go into it, whether it's the hold or anything else?
Not specifically. It's just a matter of it's their team. They work together. I think when things go well, Justin credits those guys really well, and I think they all take responsibility, for every good thing and for everything that doesn't go well.
John, is there any way to look at the number of penalties that the offensive line had, especially in this last game, but just throughout the year? Holds, illegal man downfield. Obviously, one of the strengths of this offense is Lamar's ability to improvise, to hold on the ball, to give receivers time. But with some of those plays, do you think getting the ball out faster would help address some of those penalties?
Well, the holding penalties run runs, and those are penalties that hurt us. I mean, it's just you start with what type of penalties we're talking about. First of all, too many penalties, way too many penalties. The penalties on offense are the one thing that is holding us back. That's the biggest issue. It shows up in different ways. So holding penalties on run plays, yeah, color separation, it's happening, and we're grabbing those guys. It's getting called. It's putting us to it's putting us to 1st and 20. It's putting us to 2nd and 19, and we're probably the best get back on track offense in the league right now, overcoming those things. But we shouldn't have to overcome them. When you play defense like we played, or you play in a game like we were playing in, sometimes it becomes too high a mountain to scale. And that's why we didn't score as many points. That's really the number one reason, because we were behind the sticks too much because of the penalties. So holding penalties, run game. No holding penalties in the pass game. We've been pretty good in pass protection. We haven't had too many holding penalties in pass protection. I give our line a lot of credit for that, especially the way Lamar moves around. I think they do a great job of blocking for Lamar that way. The linemen downfield penalties. In this game, there was one that happened on a run play that got taken out kind of like we took it outside to the right. I think we could have held our water on the line of scrimmage there a little better. The other ones were screens, where the screens get held up and the timing gets messed up. So that's tough, but we still got to try to find a way to be intentional about that and not get downfield. But I will say on the screens, when they cover the screen and it gets delayed, that's a tougher deal. Other types of penalties, help me out.
I was just asking if...
I'm trying to be really specific about it. So you got... the special teams penalties? Yeah. The special teams penalties aren't acceptable. They back you up and put you behind. And those are both unnecessary penalties, and they're both technique penalties, One of them was a leverage penalty in the kickoff return, and in terms of not setting up the right way in the right spot, get beat across your face, grab the guy. Okay, not okay. We work hard on that. The other one was the punt return downfield. You don't put your hands on. You don't try to block somebody on the tip of the shoulder pad, because inevitably it becomes the back. On the punt return. Coach said all the time, not okay. There's techniques involved with that. Special teams is all about fundamentals and techniques, and understanding the spacing, the geometry of those plays, and we've got to be better at that.
Penalties, the fans see that as lack of discipline, and lack of discipline ultimately gets put on the shoulders of coaching. What can be done to eliminate these issues moving forward down the stretch here?
Yeah, it's across the board. It's everything. The buck stops here. Harry Truman, right? Stops with me. So it's my job to make sure that we're doing the things that we got to do. And we've, from a coaching standpoint, from a drill standpoint, from an emphasis standpoint, technique standpoint, and making sure guys understand that, it's not okay. It's not acceptable. We've all got to be intentional about getting it stopped, and my job to make sure that everybody's focused on it.
John, going back to Justin for a second. Is there any way to change up the problem-solving process for him? Have him talk to somebody else, different voice in there, or do you just sort of have to trust the process that has worked so well for so many years?
We try to attack everything to the utmost that we can across the board. And, Justin is one of the aspects that we're looking at. He's going to get it figured out. We have coaches. We have technique. We look at the tape. He's practicing well. He's got to kick it straight.
John, do you have any more on Eddie Jackson staying home? And also another question at safety is Sinisi Kane's update.
Really no injury updates right now. There's MRIs today, things like that, so we'll see where we're at after all that information comes in. And I really don't have anything to say about any of those personnel decisions that get made or why they get made. Some of those things are just in-house conversations that we have, and it stops there. And other things are just week-to-week decisions that you make. I mean, you make decisions week to week. It's a week-to-week league, and that's pretty clear. You know, I say that a lot up here, and I think we all know that. You know, it's you can't get too high, you can't get too low. You're not as good as it's not as good as you think when things are going well, and you're not as bad as you think when things aren't going well. It's a long season, and we got a big game next week. So, what worked last week, or what the plan was last week, whether it's play calls or who's on the field or who plays, it evolves to the next week, and you've got to look at your circumstances and meet them where they're at. You know, just decide what's our best avenue, strategy. What can we do to try to win this next game against an opponent that's doing the same thing against you, trying to find a way to exploit anything they can to win the game. That's just the nature of this competitive business, you know. So it's always going to be like that, man. It's conflict, it's clashing, it's two high level, you know, operations going against each other in battle, you know, football battle. That's the beauty of it. That's the challenge of it. You can't get all down on yourself and start saying, oh, you know, we didn't do this right, we didn't do that right, we're going to beat ourselves up. You feel bad about it, but then you pick yourself off the mat and you go to work because we got a big game coming up. And if we win this game, we're going to be in great shape. And if we don't win this game, it's not going to be the end of the world. You know, that's just a fact. And we'll go to the next game. So we got a bunch of fighters. We got a bunch of competitors. And we're going to make the best decisions we can that are best for our team to play the best football that they can the very next week coming up.
John, you started out using Tre'Davious White in the dime package, almost like you guys used four corners, but it seems like he played more and more even, you know, when you were in nickel in the fourth quarter. How did he look, and, you know, do you feel like he's going to be in the mix more and more moving forward based off of that?
Yeah, I thought Trey had a real good game. Has worked really hard to pick up the defense, and still a few things he'll learn. Like all of our guys are still learning things. We all are, but I thought he played well, and I think he's a nice piece for us back there. Great addition. I'm looking forward to his continuing role and his expanding role.
John, when you went back and looked at it, what did the Steelers do well defensively to make life difficult for you?
They played really good defense, Childs. I mean, they're aggressive, they're physical, they made tackles. We didn't exploit some of the things. I remember guys running open sometimes that we didn't have time to get to or whatever, or we just didn't capitalize when we could. We had the penalties that set us behind schedule. So, you know, it's a combination of all those things. Can't really narrow it down to one thing.
John, obviously a game like that is the smallest details matter. How frustrating was it just thinking back to the interception of Justice Hill getting the ball taken from, just to see them making the plays that you feel like, you know, the winning plays in that game, and your side not being able to make as many as you'd like?
Yeah, it's disappointing. Those are things that you want to do. You want to find ways to win the game.
John, one thing Lamar said about the approach to yesterday's game is like he thought maybe at one point they were coming into the game, the team was too hyped, and I don't want to say that applies to everyone, and it's Lamar's opinion, but is there anything that you take from maybe that stance from one of your leaders? Did you see maybe a mental approach that was sort of butterflies or anything like that going into that game?
No, I didn't see that.
Personnel question, but David Ojabo was a healthy scratch for the third time this season. You had Adisa Isaac playing this game. Yannick Ngakoue was ahead of him a couple times differently. What does he need to do to see the field, or what do you need to see from him in practice?
Yeah, well, I have those conversations with the guys personally every single day. And so you make those decisions based on who gives and what and who and when and how gives you the best chance you think that in that game that week. And there's a lot of things that go into each of those decisions.
John, a lot of the defensive players said communication is still the reason for a lot of their mistakes, but that
Can you repeat that? Can you repeat that? I couldn't understand you.
Yeah, a lot of defensive players said communication is still the reason for a lot of their mistakes, but that it took a really big step forward this game. How do you attack communication issues, and why do you think it did start to click for them?
I thought we came out and played good in this game, but we can play better. There's things that we can do better on defense for sure. We'll look at all those things, just like we did last week. Next, just because you played a little better this week doesn't mean you're going to play better next week. We trying to chase perfection in every aspect of what we do. But it's a challenging deal because you got an opponent over there that's coming after you and attacking you. It's back and forth, you know. And hopefully you can make those stops and make those plays. I'm proud of the guys. I thought the effort, the intensity, the guys were locked in and focused. Communication I thought was good on defense, really good. And we'll just keep trying to improve and get better and try to win the next game.
John, this isn't a recent injury, but we haven't asked you about Michael Pierce. Is he getting closer to being an option, or is that still?
Well, he was an IR, so when he comes off IR, you know, then you'll know. But he's working hard every day. He's working hard every day to get healthy and get back out there, and he will be back this season. Yeah.
John, similar, not a recent injury from this game, but Arthur Millett had the calf last week. Is that something? It could be longer term, potential injury reserve, or injured reserve.
Yeah, I don't anticipate that one being injury reserve at this point. So just have to see how it heals.